Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Zoom into Wine. It's time for the show and your host, Ian Blackburn.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Ian Blackburn. I'm going to be your host tonight for a fun tasting of Colt Cabernet California Ultra Luxury Table Wine, part of our ongoing series of tastings at Zoom into Wine, which we're in a process right now of kind of realigning our world and part of the pivot, the famous pivot word. We're actually relaunching learnaboutwine.com, and we're going to put all of our educational content there, and we're deep in the process of doing that right now. We just put the website up, so you're welcome to take a look at the new Learn About Wine, but it's in this very beginning days, and there's not a lot there yet. And we're going to rebrand. I'm going to mute everybody for a second. We're going to rebrand as Wine LA is going to rebrand to Zoom into Wine, and that's how that's going to be. And we're going to keep these Zooms going every Wednesday and Saturday with different topicality and experiences and a lot of winery events, things that aren't necessarily perfect for Learn About Wine, but really work well on the Zoom platform, because we can Zoom anywhere and do some really cool things with Zoom. And the classes have to be very much an educational experience. So we're trying to separate those a little bit. And then I'm continuing with my Merchant of Wine and our wine store. In fact, we're in day 70 something, I think, of waiting for our ABC license, which is it's only supposed to take 30 days, but it never does. And so we're paying double rent on two locations now in our third month. And if you're an entrepreneur, you feel my pain. But we are hoping to be in a new place for our wine store in the very near future. And I'm very happy to have such an awesome group, not only here, but on our social media. Those of you that are tasting along with us, we sent out a tasting kit, and I even bumped up the number of wines to 7. And who is with us tonight? Let's take a look. Got David and Maria. We've got Oleg. We've got Sabrina. How are you? Good to see you. Hi. Wendy, how are you? Good to have you. Thank you. Hi, Joe. How you doing, buddy? Great. Stephen, thank you.
Are we the only one getting some feedback noise, Ian? Is anybody else experiencing that?
I think there is. I'm trying to mute it down and figure out where that is. Somebody's got some pretty loud cell phone connection. So keep yourself muted unless you're going to speak, if you don't mind, just so for everyone's sanity. And then if you have something, I'd love to hear it. You can just press your space bar and speak, and you are part of the audience. I didn't make my way all the way around the crowd yet, but Tracy and Darren, thank you for joining us, and Brentwood. Cicely Cronin, where are you guys joining us from?
The Valley.
All right, cool.
Hi.
Hi, pleasure. And Silma, is it S-L-Y-M-A? I'm not sure what the name is there. I think that's your initials, yeah? Oh, now I got to ask you.
Steve and Diane Lyman from Rancho Santa Fe.
Ah, there you are. All right. Lyman, all right. Thank you so much. Hector, how are you, buddy?
I wouldn't miss this for the world.
Awesome.
Ready.
Hector's a famous photographer here in Los Angeles. Does all the big food and wine events, and he's huge in great big wines. So yeah, he was eager on this one for sure. Thanks for joining us, Hector. Lauren, everything good, buddy? Got all your peeps in order down there in San Diego?
Absolutely, everything worked fine. Steve's here, Phil's here. You'll meet him in a moment. And Diane, of course. Hello.
Awesome. Hi, Phil Baker. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm great.
You're part of the San Diego trio there?
I am. I'm in Solana Beach.
Awesome. What a beautiful place.
We're lucky. And Lauren convinced me to join, and thankful that he did.
Awesome.
Looking forward to this.
Well, great. We've got some beautiful wines to taste. And last but not least, Zoe, how are you?
Hi, Ian. All good.
Are you in Pasadena tonight?
South Pasadena, yep.
Yep.
Holding it down in South Pasadena.
Very nice. And did we get you the wines okay?
Yep, you did.
All right, great. Well, we're going to taste, as I may have already alluded to, we're going to taste starting with glass 7 and working our way down to 1. Did I get that communicated to everybody okay? So yeah, we'll go 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then if you got 7 glasses, that's awesome. If you don't, do it at your own pace in your own way. But we've got a lot to cover. So let me get into it. I'm going to start by showing a little PowerPoint about the wines. And by the way, if you want to, have a list that we're tasting from, probably the best place to go is to the event itself that you signed up on, our Cult Wines at Merchant of Wine, on the Zoom into Wine link. And there are the wines. Now, I called 1A because this is not number 1, or it shouldn't be. I put the wines in a very random order, but this will be A, B, C, D, E, F, G in my tasting order. So when you answer or take a guess at which wine you are tasting, you can use that. I'm also going to paste, if it will work. Let me see if I can do this paste special. Boom. Paste stuff into the chat, but I have a feeling there's just too much information in here to get it out there. Let's see if it works. All right, that seemed to work. So there's your A, B, C, D, E, F, G list in the chat box. I also included, just so you can see what we're going to be tasting tonight, we've got a wine made from almost every top winemaker in Napa Valley. Well, not everyone, but a really good cross section. Let's put it that way, because there's some nice names missing. Philippe Melka's not on here. There's Andy Erickson's not on here. So there's some really big people not on this list, but I'm sure in future tastings we can get them involved. But Tony Biaggi, Thomas Rivers Brown, Heidi Barrett, Benjamin Otoke, Celia Welsh with 2 facings tonight, and Russell Bevan. And for those of you that signed up, I always like to kind of lean into the event a little bit if they sell out, and we did. So I added 2 more wines. So I'm going to start just kind of letting you know what I added. I added a wine called Adex. It's a brand new wine provider. The winemaker is Russell Bevan. The vineyard's no slouch. This is from Tench Vineyard. In fact, my designer somehow dropped that expensive part of the wine. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. It should have a comma or 2 in there. But this is the Tench Vineyard, which is right next to Screaming Eagle, and quite a few people are making it Tench. It's a really, really hard vineyard to get fruit from, for obvious reasons. Oakville designation, and this Addicts made by Russell Bevan. Russell, if you've never tried his wines before, he knows how to evoke everything from the fruit and the place. And so excited to see what your thoughts are. One of the wines that we added here is a newer property also called Castell Estate up on the top of Howe Mountain. Beautiful Cabernet, single vineyard, and Celia Welsh is making this wine. And so we put it into the mix. We added some scores here, but the scores that we added, I think, are Parker scores. Of course, we've got Parker, we've got Spectator, we've got Vinuous, we've got Jeb Dunnick, and most of these guys range on all these wines, very close to the 100-point mark. So a really elite list of wines that we're tasting tonight, and excited to do so with you. So let's go through our PowerPoint and cover a little bit of information. But if you want to start tasting wine number 7, and then we'll check back in as we move down the list. But I want to quickly go over a couple of things, and I'll just get some comments from you as we're tasting. But I'm not going to unveil the wines until you've tasted all 7, because I want you to pick your first 1 or 2, your top 2 favorites. And then I want you to try to guess which one maybe is 1 or 2 of those. If you want to try to guess all 7, good on you. Napa Valley is where all these wines are coming from. And it's been my comment for many, many years, as I've been very fortunate to do what I do now. I'm in my 25th year. I started learning about wine in 1995 as a way to teach myself. And I've continued to invest in that, grow and learn and travel. Travel's a big part of my information base. And I work for the Napa Valley Vintners. I do an annual tasting for them. I've been to the Napa Valley maybe 200 times, maybe more. And I've traveled most of the main highways and met with most of the main winemakers that we're going to be tasting with today. I also make my own wine. I make wine up in Sonoma, and I've made a wine from the top of Howe Mountain from the Black Sears Vineyard. Napa Valley is like no other place in the world. And as much as I'm a Sonoma winemaker, I make a Sonoma Zin. I'm not going to tell you that Sonoma and Napa are on par. I think there are wine grape varieties in Sonoma that really can do very, very well, and maybe even better than Napa Valley. But in the realm of kingdom of great wine, Napa Valley may be the greatest winemaking region in the world today. Now, you may not agree if you don't like Napa Valley Cabernet, but this is a place where excellence has been championed for a long time, and they're sharing information. And they also have this togetherness, this spirit of togetherness that is really unique. And they know that all boats rise in the harbor, and they really do all syncopate nicely in a common goal. And they're really pushing on the green movement. It's a very small appellation. When I ask my students, how much wine do you think comes from the Napa Valley? Of all the wine made in California, the answers are all over the place, but the right answer is around 3 to 4% of the actual wine supply. That's 3% of the wine supply. And it does create about 30% of the dollars, because the fruit here grows at a higher level, and it's way more expensive to grow fruit in the Napa Valley than any other place in California, if not the world. Maybe Burgundy is the one other place where the fruit would cost you more. But definitely Napa Valley is in rare form, and in making some amazing wines, and living with some of the struggles. We've heard about the fires. We had fires in 17, 19, 20, and fires even before that. But if you went up there right at this moment, you wouldn't even know there was a fire up there. So the group works really well together. And this appellation, this AVA, American Viticultural Area, has evolved greatly since it was first designated an appellation in 1983. This appellation has really become significant. And most people think that anything that has the word California on the label is grown in Napa Valley, and that's where they're wrong, because Napa Valley is so premium. If it just says California on the label, the wine probably doesn't have an ounce of juice from Napa Valley. And if it does, it's not every year. Now, one of the wines that we're going to taste tonight is a wine, and I just want to kind of take a look at the group. I can see you all, but you might not be able to see everybody, but just raise your hand if you've tried Vineyardist before. You tried this? All right. Well, really cool. I learned a lot looking this wine up. I have not tried this wine before this event. And I learned that I didn't give this wine enough credit. I didn't give the actual full name of the wine, because we are going to be tasting the single vineyard that was planted in 18, what is it? It says right on the label, 1879. It's when this vineyard was first planted. Now, not all the vines are from 1879, but this wine has certainly come a long way. It's had a new owner in the vintage 2000. They've gone through Mark Harold, who's made a lot of great wines in his history and worked for a lot of people for a very short period of time, but he is a big personality. And Mark's no longer there, so Tony Biaggi's now the winemaker. And this wine got 97 points, came onto my radar. In the last year, I got on their allocation, and we get a nice chunk of Vineyardist. So hurt me if you want some, but we have a little bit in-house, and we've been told we can get some more. So this is a really nice small 1.5 ton per acre type of property, 22 months, 100% French oak. Tony Biaggi is the winemaker. Here's the house, built back in the 1800s. The ownership purchased it in the year 2000 and has been elevating it. Everything about this vineyard is completely sustainable, and really all about taking care of the land. And that's the story. That's the story behind the brand name. And I'm really excited for you to taste this very teeny, small, upscale producer of high quality wine. One of the wines we're going to taste tonight, and again, we're not doing it in order, is Paletta Walker. Before I continue, let's stop the share real quick. You tasted wine number 7. You're in a good spot, starting to relax, getting your Cabernet on. You smell that wine. You smell that eucalyptus, mint, cassis, and maybe something else. What else do you guys smell? David, you're studying for your advanced exam. What do you got on that wine?
Oh, I get it's complex. It's just so damn. I knew these all would be this. So I got that black cherry crushed stone. I got some eucalyptus, bit of Christmas cake, like a touch of coffee on the nose, and it's a long finish with round tannins and just wonderful fruit. Wow, that's good.
Oh man, thank you for that.
Sure.
All right. So now we'll go into wine number 6 and let you guys move around that wine as I continue to take us through the list of possible wines that we're tasting tonight. I mean, we are tasting all of these, but which one is which? Because all of our contestants tonight are tasting the wines blind. They know what they were getting into. They wanted to taste some of the best in the Napa Valley. And so we've got a bottle of Paletta Walker, the Melanson Vineyard. This is the 2018, which years ago, wine of 2018 would be considered too young, but we could argue that all day long. These wines are made for enjoyment, whether you buy it today or you buy it and put it away for 10 years. And there's certainly going to be a different resulting wine 10 years from now. But there's such a concentration of fruit going on in all of these wines. They are absolutely delicious to taste. And maybe drinking them 10 years from now will be the right answer, but tasting them right now is really fun. And this wine has an incredible pedigree. Winemaker is Thomas Rivers Brown on this particular effort, and his name is associated with a lot of very good high-scoring Napa Valley Cabernet. And this property is just spectacular and really meticulous. Every detail about this particular ranch is at the highest level. Pritchard Hill, adjacent, fruit, really an important spot for expensive fruit. One of the wines that we're going to taste tonight is Amuse Bouche. This is a perennial, like an annual actual annual treat to be able to try the wines of Heidi Barrett. She, of course, very prolific winemaker. This is her baby that she is in charge of. There's the vineyard at elevation. This is dominated by, let me back that up a second. Did you see that? 92% Merlot. I got to tell you, Merlot is, I have been tasting some radicalized Merlots. And when you've come across this one tonight, let's see if you can figure out which one is Merlot based, because this one is just incredible and really a special wine. 98 points, $225. It's all about the view sometimes. And Heidi is just one of the great personalities in the Napa Valley. I mean, her success is certainly puts her at the very, very top of the food chain up there. And if you've got Heidi Barrett on your brand, all of a sudden the success formula starts to take shape. So she gets paid very, very well for her time and energy. And she has an incredible track record. Let's talk about Realm. And before we do that, let's find out how wine number 6 was. Wine number 6 treating you well, Zoe? Do you have any comments that you want to share? Lisa, I don't see you tonight. Did I get you wines, or are you just watching us tonight? Oh,
no wines, and I'm here with my mom, and I am like, oh, I'm having some Linny Colado instead, but I'm so envious.
All right. Well, enjoy the Linny, and thank you for being here. Tracy, can I ask you and Darren what you thought of number 6? Luscious. I like it. That's definitive.
I haven't taken your wine camp, so I can't speak.
But you liked it, right?
I did like it. It's a little bit less tart.
Okay. First one maybe a little youthful, and this one a little less so. That's good. Good point. Lauren, what did you think of number 6?
I actually haven't tried any yet, but
you're waiting.
Love the nose. The nose was just amazing.
Okay, good. Okay, Dr. Gabriel, are you out there? I saw you.
I'm out here, Ian.
Hey, buddy. Wow, that hair's getting long, man.
It's getting really long. I haven't cut it since March.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, that's my. I'm not cutting it until we get back out of this thing.
Okay,
so hopefully it doesn't get down to my mid-thigh or something like that. But anyways, like I love luscious as a description for 6. I think that's totally right. Like the fruit that came out in 6 was a little bit different than in 7. Certainly there's a little bit more from a kind of a blueberry. Almost there was a little bit of blueberry that came out in 6. So both are fantastic. So, I have a hard time. Hopefully you don't ask me which one I like.
That's going to be the most important answers. Which one you like the most? So try to narrow it down. One, you get two answers on that one, okay? Because I think you can narrow it down to 2. But let's go back into our PowerPoint and learn a little bit more about some of the other contenders that we've got here tonight. Now, I was just about to talk about Realm, and I will say that we are entering a new realm, a time period where Realm is a part of the conversation, because I think Realm is one that's rapidly moving up the charts, and there's reasons for it. Really sharp management team running the property. I've had a chance and the privilege of actually having Scott, one of the owners, host a dinner for us at the Stars of Cabernet a couple of years ago. He went to school with Victor Gallegos, winemaker at Sea Smoke, and we did a Sea Smoke and Realm dinner at the Peninsula a couple of years ago. And Scott was impressive then, but now I've really cracked the egg open and got to go to the property and see where it's sitting. I mean, it's right amongst the greats. Here's your Screaming Eagle, here's your Bacchus, here's your Pinot Peter Michael of Paradise, Paradise, and it's called the White's Vineyard. I believe this actually part of this vineyard was actually part of the Hartwell, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was Hartwell, and that realm purchased, and they've been able to elevate the vineyard again. So and I might be wrong about the name of that wine. I'm trying to remember if I got that correct, but we'll figure that out here in a second. I think it's on one of the slides. But here's our kind of repurposed home / tasting room art gallery. Now a winery. And they've seeded this thing with everything that you could possibly have to make great wine. Lots of talent. This picture was taken, I believe, during the fires of 2017 over the vineyard. Benjamin Tokay is the, or Benoit Tokay is the winemaker. And this guy, really, really intense, super winemaker, focused on making wines in the style and the method that they're using at Realm. Really has a vision for the property. One of the wines tonight that we're going to be tasting is Scarecrow, and I love to tell the story of Scarecrow because it's the reputation kind of precedes the wine a little bit, but a lot of people don't realize that it's called Scarecrow because this is the J.J. Cohn estate, and he was the producer behind The Wizard of Oz. This property fell into disrepair when J.J. Cohn passed away. His next door neighbor, Francis Ford Coppola, told the family, he's like, this vineyard's going to create some problems if we let it go up for sale, He goes, I want to help you guys. What do you need? And the estate wasn't in good order, so the family had to pay like 50% inheritance tax on this property. So Francis said, I'll tell you what, I'll loan you the money so you guys can keep the vineyard and keep the politics out of this place, because this is one of the great vineyards in Napa Valley. And so just another really cool feather in Francis Ford Coppola's hat, being able to keep the Scarecrow property with the Scarecrow family, the Cohns. And of course, they made a really smart move and got Celia Welsh involved before she was really famous as Celia Welsh. And this wine has been made since 2003 and continues to gain popularity. And I will say thank you to them for keeping their price as reasonable as anyone with this type of success could. I just got my offering at only $450 a bottle on my offering, where I get about 3 bottles a year from that. But the day you get that wine, you could turn around and sell it for quite a bit more. So, or at least within a small period of time. So it's a pretty good investment up until now. One of the wines that we're tasting in this flight, and before I talk about it, let's just check back in and see how our flight's doing. How's wine number 5? Phil, have you been able to taste number 5? And do you have anything you can tell us?
Try that now. I did taste 6 and 7. And so any chance, and I'll get back.
All right, you got it. Hector, are you tasting?
It's definitely full body, some cedar in there, some cedar notes. What I love is a touch of graphite, I think, medium acidity, totally full body. There's a little astringency to it, but it works for me.
Cool. Well, I can't wait to hear what your favorites are. Joe, any love there for the wine so far? Oleg, how's number 5 treating you, buddy? Have you been to Oleg's restaurant, Tractor?
Sphincter?
Tractor. Not Sphincter.
Great. 5 5 is amazing, and 6 is insane.
Oh, awesome.
I'll vote for 5 as well.
So far, they're all crazy good.
Phil's voting for 5. You like 5 so far?
I do.
5
More
is
astringent, but it's got a terrific finish. And,
Outstanding.
good balance. Yeah.
All right. Let's go back into the PowerPoint and we'll get through that, and then we'll start, we'll keep ticking our way down. Once you're done with 5, let's move into wine 4. I don't want to rush you. We've got plenty to talk about here. So let me just talk about this beauty here. This is Howe Mountain, top of Howe Mountain, and they've been making wine for only a couple of years. They brought Celia Welsh in, this beautiful vineyard, probably in the neighborhood of 5 acres of vineyard that they're working from. A pretty small property, but really steep and rocky, and has all that volcanic ash soils that they call the pumice ash flow tuff. That's the technical name for the soil. And that's why a lot of the wines from Howe Mountain have kind of this kind of hot metal kind of note, or maybe what Hector said, graphite, kind of in there. You can really kind of smell, some people say gunmetal, and just an amazing spot. Now, of course, a few places in Napa got really roughed up in 2020, and a lot of people aren't going to make wine. Most on Howe Mountain, if not all, will tell you that 2020 was taken away from them. The smoke just saturated the entire mountain at the wrong time. So the good news is that a lot of these wineries, they've got 16. They made some really good 17s. 17, the fire came after harvest. 18 was really unaffected by any type of fire, one of the great vintages. 19, there was some fire, but a lot of people made some good wine. And but 19th is a little bit of a shorter vintage, smaller vintage. So I think you're gonna eventually see the 2000 vintage kind of a nice place where everybody can take a pause and catch up on things, especially in this kind of wacky economy when all the wineries lost all their accounts. At least they don't have to force a lot of wine through the sales funnel and press prices downward. In fact, I really think that prices will go catapulting north in the very near term. One of the wines we're going to taste tonight is the new brand called Adex. And again, the vineyard is Tench. This is a really special single vineyard. Just got a score, in fact, from Judd Dunnock, 96 plus. And you might be in the first couple people to try this wine. So it's a brand new wine to us. And I got to taste with the winemaker and the ownership recently, and I bought 2 of the wines. The Pinot Noir that they're making is spectacular as well, and I got that one first because this one wasn't quite released yet. But let me see if I got a picture of the Tench vineyard there. Yeah, and if you've ever met Russell Bevan, he's the winemaker magician here, and he's got this way of just really getting everything out of the fruit. Big dude, makes big wines. So here's the lineup again, and what I'd like you to do is actually use the alphabet listing that I put in the chat box once you're done tasting, and we'll get your favorite 2. But let's get back in there and get some comments about wine number 4. How is our group down in San Diego, Solano Beach area liking number 4. Lauren, are you tasting now? I see you swirling.
I am. Steve, what do you think, Steve?
It's interesting. If I had to guess a winery, which I know we're not doing yet, it really reminded me of one of the ones I was up to in Napa. A lot of fruit, cherry, blackberry, tinge of coffee, maybe, you know. It was one of my favorites so far.
Right.
To be honest with you, I liked it a lot better than 5, and number 5 is getting rave reviews, and it was Diane's and my least favorite. So just different palates, I'm sure.
And you know, all these wines have a different moment too. Some of them will taste better today, and you know, maybe come roaring around the corner and change their presentation in 3 months, 6 months, a year or 2. I didn't check my biodynamic calendar to figure out what kind of day today is, fruit day, earth day, but I'll try to find out. Everything seemed to be pretty lifted aromatically when I was tasting. So maybe a fruit day today, if you believe in that kind of thing, which I do. But Zoe, which one are you tasting right now?
I'm on 4. Which I thought which I like also very much. I felt like there's a lot of, the tannins were a little bit sharper here. And I got the kind of the mint eucalyptus, you know, on the nose, and a lot of black fruit, I guess. That's sort of what I got.
Cool. Stephen, how is it treating you?
Sorry about that. I was just saying that I agree 100% with what Zoe described. You can definitely notice the eucalyptus and mint even on the nose, and you know, a little bit of tannin, but you know, not sharp. But you can also pick up the eucalyptus and mint, you know, even when you're tasting and on the finish.
So do you have a favorite so far?
Still thinking about it.
Okay, good. Go reserving judgment.
Reserving judgment.
Wendy, did I get you the wines? Are you tasting with us?
I am, yes, thank you.
Great.
They're
How are
great.
they treating you?
Really, really good. I don't know what my favorite is. I like them all so far.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually, I'm not trying to rush favorites, because I think sometimes, you know, having to pick a favorite is kind of unfortunate, especially amongst such elite company. But you know, finding out what's maybe shining the brightest today is kind of fun, and we'll get a consensus on that. But again, I really believe that every wine has kind of a different mood and moment and energy, and respond to different things, different days. And you know, you might always love that wine, but the subtlety will really change quite a bit about wine. And even over an hour or 2 of them being open, you'll see them start to bend and soften as they get exposed to the air, the heat, and the glass, and really start to relax. And some of them are built to do that now, and some of them maybe need a few more years before they hit their sweet spot. The irony of wine sometimes too is the more you pay for it, probably the longer you need to wait to drink it. And that's kind of sad, but also true. It is, you know, these, you can only get so much flavor through the opening of that bottle at one time, and it just takes time for these things to hit their potential.
Quick question, Ian. Regarding the some of these wines are obviously relatively young, and they don't get to their maturity maybe 5-10 years from now. But if you want to open a bottle And is there a rule in regards to decanting it for that younger wine to serve? Is there a specific rule, timing wise, or is it?
So that's a good question, and I will say that it's a little bit, subjective. I think depending on who you ask. They always say if you want 10 different opinions, ask 10 different experts. The fact is I think that a young wine, if you know you're going to be drinking it, I was at a seminar once where a guy took a bottle of, I don't know, $200 bottle of wine. It's a baby. He said, if you want to really maximize this wine for right now, take it and shake the shit out of it, and then pour it in your glass. Because he's like, the goal is to get a lot of air in there. I don't know if any of you have ever seen the video, the guy that poured the bottle of wine into a blender. So there's different philosophies on what will work the best. And I think some people see people putting wine in a blender and they freak out. And then some people will be like, hey, if it works. I think that a young wine is going to really show its fruitiness in coming out of the bottle. I think a half hour. I personally love to taste it immediately coming out of the bottle, and then 30 minutes later, and see what's going on. And if there's a change, then I want to taste it again 30 minutes after that and see how it's continuing to change. Sometimes I can't tell that it's changed even a lick in that first half hour. And in fact, you might miss something if you don't taste it, because that big, brash, bold, almost jelly donut type of fruit that you're gonna get when you first open the bottle can kind of dissipate. As the wine matures over the years, fruit comes a little less impactful and starts to melt into the wood, into the tannins, into the mixture of grape varieties. They start to harmonize, and you start to smell different things. And the word is complexity. You're building, it's like a diamond being shaped by a jeweler, and it's adding different facets and starting to take shape. And it really, the job of the winemaker is to give it, put it up on a pedestal and really show off all of its beauty and its different elements. And also the job of the winemaker is to hide its imperfections or minimize them, because every wine's got something. Maybe it's that greenness, that youthfulness of the vineyard. So what do? Maybe we let it get a little riper. Maybe we put that in a little bit more new wood. Maybe we use a little bit of Merlot to give it a little bit of a softness. Maybe there's different things that we can do in the winemaking department to kind of elevate some of these wines in their earlier moments. All right, so we're moving on. Anyone on wine number 3? Where are you, David? Which one are you tasting?
I'm at number 3. Is anybody else getting really like blueberry, boysenberry? Like there's a real blueberry note there. Is anybody else getting that? And coffee, chocolate, just yeah, they're all youthful. They're all like, but the potential of all these is just ridiculous. So.
And sometimes when we taste wines like these, we can smell more blue fruits, really expressed by some ripeness, some character of the place. Sometimes it's more red fruits. A little cooler climates tend to have more red fruits, warmer, riper sites, a little more blue. So let's see. We've talked about all of the wines. Our tasters are tasting through them, building opinions. They're moving on to wine 3 of 7, or actually the 4th wine of 7, wine number 3. as we count down towards wine number 1. And then we're going to get a kind of a range of a mixture of opinions about these wines. And they're all tasting them blind. And they're going to tell us which wine they like. We'll unveil at the very end. But we've got a lot of the 2017 and 2018 wines being showcased here today. One hint I'll give you is that one of the wines is a 2016. Year in bottle can make a pretty big difference. 17 was a considerably warmer vintage than 18, with a couple of really hot weeks. It tended to affect quantity of fruit as well, and some fruit got pretty ripe in a hurry. But it was kind of a nice heat wave. It wasn't too destructive, and it really elevated this plushness and luxury level wines that really, when it comes down to it, this fruit is handled like, you know, like I've compared it to diamonds before. I'll just do it again. You know, these are like diamonds. They come in off the vineyards. The clusters are destemmed, and then this fruit is put on a table that moves very slowly, and the selection begins. Some of them use even technology to read the berries, and this scanner scans the berries and blows the bad berries off of the table. Some of them are just equipped with 6-7 people on each side of the table, and their job is to pick out anything that isn't perfect or close to it. You might take that berry, throw it into a bucket because you're going to use it in your second wine. You might have go through the sorting, a very long sorting table, and you may end up making a couple different wines from all this massive selection that you're going to make on this out of this fruit. These wineries have a strong number of resources to make wines at this level. Great vineyards, start there, with a great team, and then a top winemaking facility. All those things have to be in place. You don't get lucky. You don't buy somebody's leftover fruit and get here. When you're making wines at this level, you're hiring really high-end talent to take very high-end fruit and to sculpt it. These are the Michelangelos working with the top pieces of marble. So a really important and impressive group of wineries here. All right, if you made it down to Stephen, did you make it through 2 and 1 yet?
No, I'm still on 3.
How are you, Lauren?
I'm on 2.
You're on 2. Your teeth are turning blue. So while you guys are tasting number 2, I'll do a little commercial. We have been working really hard on a couple of different things, so I'll tell you right now about what we have coming up at Zoom Into Wine. So Zoom Into Wine. This Saturday, I'm doing a really fun tasting of top Chardonnays, going from a $30 bottle to a $60 bottle to a $110 bottle, Kongsgaard. And my friend, Chef Bob Blummer, is going to be on the Zoom with me. He's on the Food Network. And we're going to be talking about how to make great risotto as well at the same time. So I always have a lot of fun with Bob Blummer. He's known as the Surreal Gourmet, and he's worked all over the world. I love going out to dinner with Bob. People recognize him from everywhere. And we're going to have a lot of fun with some great Chardonnay topicality. Next week is our Rhone Warriors event, 3 nights. And I will say, sometimes you think, you put up an event, and you think, oh, that's going to be an easy sell. And sometimes you put up an event, and you think, oh, this is going to be a lot of work. I expected the workload to be pretty heavy here. And it shows you how this pandemic moment has been fantastic for Rhone wines, because this event's about to sell out. We've been doing these big collective events where we have 18 winemakers over 3 days, 18 wines. You can do one event or you can do them all. But a really cool collection of wineries from all over that love Rhones, and the Rhone Warriors is doing great. You could participate by buying the 3-night flight kit at $149 and get you a flight of each set of wines. Really good deal, and that includes delivery anywhere in the state of California. And then moving into March, we've got a night at Sancerre, really cool wines, a couple of great vintners coming on. Rams quarterback legend Vince Ferragamo will be on a Zoom with me on March 6th. We're going to be blind tasting Brunello de Montalcino and really good wines. Click on the event, you'll learn all about it. Former Screaming Eagle wine team member Matt Dees is going to do a Zoom with me and 2 of his beautiful products from Santa Barbara, Mail Road and Kimsey. I'm doing an educational event on Saturday, the 20th, about kosher wine, because the next week is Passover. Then we're doing a little side-by-side comparison with some Ruby versus Tawny Port. In fact, it's actually Colheita versus Vintage Ruby, 2003 versus 02. And we're going to look at the style and talk about the port category. And then we'll go the next week over to Bursco and taste some Mencia and learn all about this grape variety that I'm really bullish on. I really love the wine, the grape known as Mencia, and Bursco is really a place to start to get to know. Everyone knows about Rioja over here, but this may be where the greatest wines of Spain are going to come from in the future. And then we're working on this really cool concept. It's called a virtual visit, where we're going to pretend like we're driving from winery to winery in Santa Clara wine appellation. And we've got some really cool brands coming on. Maybe you haven't been to Santa Clara. That's a good reason to join us. Maybe you have, and you want to go back and get to meet some of these great producers. We'll be announcing those producers in the next couple of days. We just posted that event. All right. Hector, did you get through all the wines?
So they're all amazing. There's 2 in particular that I feel, and they're not the top tier ones that, that everybody talks about. So,
Got 2 in mind?
Yeah.
All right. You want to start sending your favorites over on the chat?
Yeah.
I just want to start accumulating some data.
You just want the 2 top or everything in order?
Just give me your 2 favorites. Okay. Give me the letter numbers, or you can even send the vial number. I guess you don't know what the letters are, right?
No.
So send me over the vial numbers.
Okay.
Your favorites. And if you're looking for that chat, right down the bottom in the middle, you see this chat box there on the bottom of your screen. Hopefully you see that. My view is a little bit different than yours. I'll just post a little chat in there to everybody. And it should show up like with a number 1 on your screen if you haven't seen it already. So for you, we did these tastings at some really nice restaurants, the Peninsula Beverly Hills, Mastro Steakhouse once. We're at Delmonico's, Del Frisco's, I guess. Del Frisco's, yeah. It's been a year since I've eaten at a steakhouse. Can't even remember what they're called anymore. Melise, we've been at Melise. We've been at Mozza. We've had dinners at Curtis's restaurants. What can't I remember Curtis restaurant's name? Sunset Boulevard.
Stone.
Curtis Stone's, yeah. Gwen. That's the one. Upstairs at Gwen.
Mog.
Down near Anthony and Manhattan Beach, Tin Roof. They've got a great little back room.
Odium.
Odium. Oh,
that was classic.
Yeah, we did. They have this beautiful outdoor patio at OTM,
Yeah.
and we did this crazy dinner there.
Don't forget 72 and above.
Yeah, that's right. 72 and above. My good friend Emil's restaurant. Gosh, talk about
71. Just one.
Sorry,
one line.
71. Yeah, 71. I'm adding one.
Tough to own great real estate like that right now. All right, I don't want to jade anyone by telling you what other people are saying yet, so I'm going to give everyone the time that you deserve to gather your opinion. Give us a post. All right, very interesting. Very interesting. See some consensus starting to build around a couple of numbers. Sabrina, you joined me at the Del Frisco's dinner, right? Is that where we met? I think it was Del Frisco's.
No, I don't think. I think we went to your studio in downtown.
Yeah. Okay. RIP my studio in downtown. I sold my place in February of last year and rented a showroom location. It was a good time to sell and a good time to move, and then a bad time to rent. And I rented a little showroom over in the Arts District to be my classroom. Now it's our logistics headquarters, and it's a terrible place to be doing what we're doing to it. A really wonderful building, but it would have been so nice because it had valet parking and all kinds of things for our classes. It would have been a great class location.
So where are you locating now?
Well, we don't have classes now, so I don't even have a class space to use now because it's so full of wine. So we turned it into our shipping location just for the website.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look forward to it once this pandemic is over.
Not fun.
Starting to chatter about putting some trips on the calendar for 2022.
Please don't tell my wife.
David, did you give me your answers, buddy? Did you pick? I got Tracy. I got Phil Baker.
Period to me, come on. They're all good.
Take a stab.
What did Lauren pick? I'll pick what Lauren picks. Whatever he picks. He knows.
All right, so I'm going to start to reveal a couple of the answers now. David liked number 4 and 7. Stephen Weaver liked 5 and 4. We have Michael's is number 6, and Cicely's is 2 and 3. Anthony Gabriel, 4 is awesome. I'd say 3 next. We got Phil Baker, maybe 2. It's Merlot. Is that the one that you're loving, Phil? Go ahead and say that again.
I like 5 and 6.
Oh yeah, I do. I see your scores now. Sorry.
Yeah, but I was trying to guess at the Merlot, and I picked either 2 or 3.
All right.
By the way, Ian, these are all awesome. So
I agree with you. I tasted through them before, and there's just like a universal sense of massive, amazing winemaking, just so solid. The quality is, there's just nothing getting in the way of the grapefruit, but really, really great deft winemaking to really showcase it and stack it and present it. Some of them are a little more voluptuous. Some of them are a little bit more restrained, but in general, most of them are pretty stylish and bold and definitely something you can taste right now and get some pleasure from. So as I'm calculating, I'm seeing 4, 5, and 6 a lot, with a couple of 3s and a couple 2s. Four, 5, 6 are really, really tight there. Okay, so now if you want to start to make some guesses as to which one's which, let's put it out there before I start to unveil. See if you can win the lotto. You can say something like 4A, 5B, 6C, something like that. If you want to go on the record. If you don't, no pressure, no need to. While you're at it, you can even post your lotto numbers and who's going to win the World Series in 2021.
Dodgers, obviously. Come on now.
I know the answer, right? So come on. Let's talk about Bauer for a second.
You got a new pitcher. Come on.
He's this freaking Cy Young Award winner.
I am a fan of Bauer. I really am.
Okay, well, you know he's from UCLA, right? So he kind of grew up here.
Grew up in Santa Clarita. Mm-hmm.
I just wonder if he and the Dodgers were talking about just breaking the hearts of the Mets all, winter long. Let's wait to the very end and put the dagger, or if it wasn't even quite that way. But I think the Mets thought they had Bauer for a very long time, and that was tying up a lot of their decisions in dollars. Although they have plenty of dollars.
I think we're going to get another ring.
All right. Well, the Padres are coming after us.
Oh, please don't even.
Hey, you got to give it to them, man. They are definitely putting their money where their mouth is. Whether it results in anything will be we've seen the Padres do that before. Didn't always work out. Doesn't always work out. You can spend a lot of money and have a really bad team like the Phillies.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be the Padres.
All right. Well, we're going to have a good time keeping the Padres suppressed. But man, that pitching staff they put together is.
I mean, Darvish is on the Padres now, and
2 Cy Young Award winners at the top. And the scary part is the bullpen. They've put a lot of big names, Melanson and others in that bullpen.
Not that scary.
Because the Dodgers have a hard time hitting great pitching. I'm watching the answers. You guys are enjoying trying to figure out which one is the Merlot-based wine. That's an interesting tactic. Sabrina and Grace stuck it out there. They really went after it. They named 7 as Addicts, 6 as Paletta Walker, 5 as Amuse Bouche, 4 Realm, 3 Scarecrow, 2 Vineyardist, and 1 as Castile. That's really, really cool. Not correct, but very good try. All right. I think you got a couple of them right, actually. I'm not going to tell you which ones yet, but let me start the reveal process with wine number 7. And I'm going to go back into the PowerPoint. Wine number 7 is Castile. That is number 7.
I got that one. That's the one I got.
Right.
I got the 2016. I picked it.
Yeah, so that was the hint. And also, as we were pouring these wines out and we were sold out, I wanted you all to taste some. It's kind of in unison. All these wines started saying, I could have poured this and I could have poured that, because these are all kind of like, Scarecrow has got certainly 10 vintages more than most of these brands, but all these guys are pretty recent, newer brands. I guess Amuse Bouche's got some years on it too, right? But I just felt like they were all kind of a kinship with each other. And so wine number 6, I didn't mark it as part of this tasting either. Number 6 is Addicts.
Ooh, missed that one.
Yeah, that's the Tench Vineyard. And 6 got a lot of first place mentions, as did 5. So the 2 wines that I added are in the top 3, which is pretty remarkable. So what is number 5? And number 5 got a lot of first place votes as well.
Realm.
And we think it's Realm. Well, I will tell you that
Tell me it's thick. No, tell me it's thick.
it's Scarecrow.
Mmm.
And I think when people were tasting 5, and a couple people commented about the astringency. This is a wine that needs 6-7 years, really does. And once it hits, I'll say 6-7 years from now, so 10 years off of the vintage, it's like Bordeaux. It just wakes up, and I think that's when people start scrambling, try to get it, because that's when the price goes bonkers. You try to buy 10-year-old Scarecrow, and you're looking at $1,000 price tags for the older vintages. So that's what I mean. It's a pretty good investment, at least up until now. And that's 17. Is drinking pretty great. You could find some a little less than 700. And anybody that's on this Zoom tonight, I've got special prices for you on some of these wines. So hold on to your hats there for a second, because I'm going to give you something special on any of the wines.
Yeah, I had a quick question about that, Scarecrow.
Yeah.
The first time I smelt it, like the very first, you always, say, what's your first thing? I get this pine forest thing. What is that? Why am I getting that? As soon as I put my nose in the first time, it was like when you walk into a forest.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that? What's that?
Well, first, Scarecrow is located on the western side of the Napa Valley floor, really, really close to, Opus 1. It's right actually behind, what is it called? Francis Ford Coppola's winery. Inglenook. Thank you. And the Inglenook estate, right up against and right down next kind of below Heights Martha's Vineyard. And so that side of the Napa Valley, also being valley floor, being old vine, I just think, you are able to smell that richness of the earth, the soils, all that erosion that's coming off of those mountains there. That's the complexity that creates that soil type. And really kind of depending on where you are in the valley, you have the different levels and different stone and different concentration of flavors. And I just think Scarecrow has that added advantage of having 80-plus-year-old vines. Actually, do you know Scarecrow actually does have the oldest Cabernet vineyard in the Napa Valley? With the vines of the entire ranch, the average age of the vine is over 80 years old. That's how they measure that. So let's go on to wine number 4. And the answer is Vineyardist. And again, this is the single vineyard, which I would squeeze in right in here and talk about it being. Let's see if I can do that. I didn't know that they made so many different Cabernets, but there's a huge price difference between the one that we're tasting today and the normal. And this is the vineyard that was planted in, or at least the original vineyard was planted in 1879. How much of that vineyard is from that date at this point in time, I'm not quite sure, but it's definitely one of the historical spots in the Napa Valley. And 4 did very well and got a lot of big scores and a lot of points from you guys. Now, number 3. I gotta ask, how many of you thought number 3 was in your top 2? Yeah, it did pretty well. And I think it's probably a little more divisive than number 3. I think some people love it and some people liked it least. How many of you liked it, bottom 2 of the tasting? Anybody tell me that?
We like the bottom 2.
Yeah.
Yes, I think 3 is going to be kind of a little more divisive. I think that's kind of what I'm learning about this brand as I'm tasting it with people. Let me show you which one it is.
Amuse bouche.
Getting bold.
That's
not amuse bouche.
It's not.
Not.
I missed it.
You have on muted?
I took it off.
Here it is.
Really, he's gonna show it.
Realm. And my artwork.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is a beautiful package. Everything they do at Realm is really, really great. The packaging, the design. Here, let me take off my screen. So number 3 at Realm. This is and they make several different Cabernets here. And some of them are dominated by Merlot even. They make beautiful Merlot too. But Benoit, the winemaker here, really gets this ripe and forward and rich and concentrated. I think David was talking about smells of cocoa and really pushing the aroma set here. It's really artistic and getting some massive scores and selling for very, very high prices in the aftermarket. A lot of that aftermarket isn't the winery. Remember, the winery sells it for the same price. They may take $10 up, $20 up a year. It's once you have it and the winery sold out, and the secondary market starts to take over.
Try again.
And once that secondary market starts to take over on the pricing, that's where Screaming Eagle becomes $3,000, because Eagle's $1,250 from the mailing list. You pay $3,000 because everybody wants it, and or maybe you don't pay $3,000. You let other people pay $3,000 for it, but that's what it's going for. And in fact, going north, $3,600 is really where they're targeting Screaming Eagle prices now. Harlan's in around $1,500 to $1,800 and going up. So it's quite amazing. Wine number 2, Paletto Walker, wine number 2. This is the 99 pointer. This was kind of the impetus behind this tasting. I had seen Paletto Walker come around for a number of vintages. I got the big 99 point score, and I started to wonder how it would fare up against all these big new babies. So this is a really good find if you can get it. I almost sold out of my allocation. It is going to get tight pretty quickly on this one. The distributor's out, and I've only got a few more bottles in my shop, but it's really, really good stuff. And I think that wine, being where it's from in the Napa Valley, will absolutely need 5, 6, 7 years to soften up a little bit. I think that may be where it's pretty firm. I saw some people think number 2 was Merlot though, so maybe it's showing a little softer.
We like.
Because number 1 is our Merlot. This is our Amuse Bouche, And I was absolutely stepped back when I poured this in the glass. I actually poured all of the flights after smelling the wines and making sure that they were not corked. I poured all the flights, and then I tasted a little bit of mine. And I was just couldn't believe this was Merlot. I mean, it was as powerful as any of the Cabernets tonight. And I don't know if anyone guessed it as Merlot. Did anybody guess it as Merlot? Hey, the fact that you didn't get any of them right, you should celebrate that. That means that these wines are damn good. If you could figure them all out, that means that the quality is just too easy to figure out. So that's a good thing. And I hope you guys enjoyed the variety that we were able to bring forward.
I have a quick question, Ian.
Yeah, sure.
Some of these wines are using the same clone. The same thing. There's two of them. Tell me a little bit about, what that really means in regards to the final winemaking.
Well, I'm going to give you a quick answer about that. I think clones and Cabernet are really quite a new feature, maybe too new to know how really responsible they are for the end resulting wines that we're tasting. I'm sure the winemakers that work with particular clones and know where they're at in the vineyards and they do their data research and stuff like that, they can probably start to arc together with where they want to take the wines, or let's move some of that clone, let's plant some of that, let's graft over some of that. And but you have to also put all that into combination with your vineyard team, and you've got to be operating like a champion orchestra, and really to be able to maximize potential of any clone, and to be able to pick it at the right level and to achieve the flavors that you're looking for. I mean, it just creates so many variables. So I think the real secret is that the winemaker is designing these things and coming up with, and if they're not happy with the resulting stuff, there are things we could do. And you're just a year or two away from being able to move that over. And some vineyards just slowly move 10, 15% of their vineyard every year. They're replanting, or maybe grafting over, or changing the row orientation is a big deal right now. In 1980s we had phylloxera. Phylloxera eliminated what from the Napa Valley? I'll tell you what it eliminated. Chenin Blanc, Gewürztraminer, Riesling, all the white grapes that dominated in the Napa Valley because people drank sweet wine, believe it or not. And the Napa Valley was planted all that stuff. And in the 1980s, we planted Cabernet when we had to replant with phylloxera, and we planted, and that's why the wines got so much better. And then now with the fires and different replanting too, I think it's another step up because we're now getting more familiar with vine spacing, soil type, and connecting the soil types with the clones, and also the rootstocks. The rootstocks are just as important too. Do we want the roots that go fan out? Do we want them to dig down deep? Do we want them to penetrate through rock? All that stuff comes together. So it's now a full arsenal. You've got to have the Navy, the Air Force, Marines, and the Space Force now as a winemaker. You got to have it all working for you. And that's why the wines just will continue to improve, and as will the need for great winemakers to be able to put all that stuff to work. And I think the Muse Bouche was just a blast to taste early on. I'm wondering how did it hold up. I didn't actually ask anybody about number one when you guys were tasting, because I didn't want anyone to figure that one out. I didn't see it get a lot of top scores when we were rating. We got a few. Lauren loved it. Zoe liked one.
But that was before I knew it was Merlot.
Ah!
It seemed to be more balanced and smooth. That's what I like. I'm more of a Pinot guy, so this is really, I'm out of my element here.
Just remember that Petrus is Merlot. And
Yeah, I love Pomerols.
yeah, there you go. And Massetto is Merlot. Some of the most expensive wines on the planet are Merlot.
Lafleur.
Yeah. And Merlot can also reward in that you don't actually have to be as patient with Merlot. You can start to enjoy it a little bit sooner. But it ages gracefully, and this is a great one for sure, man. I'm stoked that I have a good amount of amuse-bouche. So if any of you want any of the wines that are on tonight, and I appear to be sold out, you let me know, because I can go out and try to get some more. My store, my resources, I'm pretty limited as to how much inventory I'm carrying, but I'm always happy to do personal shopping. You guys are all going to get an email from me immediately after this is over with some special discount. And I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight. I hope you guys will come back and see us again. We're going to do something like this with really high-end Bordeaux very, very soon. And we'll just keep pushing the needle across the year and tasting different things blind. And I hope you continue to trust us, and we'll put some really great wines in the vials for you guys. But I want to thank you for your support. I couldn't do it without you. I'm kind of hanging myself out to dry if it doesn't work out. So I really thank you guys for supporting the effort.
Ian, I have another question. I think there is a cheaper version of Scarecrow on your website. What's the difference between that one and this one?
Good question. So they make a second wine called Emiton. And Emiton is actually the younger vines. And Emiton in French means tin man, by the way.
Yeah, that's what we have.
Yeah. And it's a nice wine. Half as much money, and the score's 94 points instead of 97. So it's, you know, the big dog needs a little bit of time, but it is a bigger investment and also has a bigger payoff. And the Emiton wines don't tend to appreciate like the Scarecrow wine. But if you're going to drink it yourself, who cares what it's going to end up being worth in dollars? You know, buy what you would drink, enjoy. Anyone have anything else they want to say, or comments, questions? Happy to stick around.
Addex is a great deal.
That's I'm sure they're happy to hear you say that. That's a really amazing team, and they've got a big plan, and they're really going crazy to tackle that plan. They're going to get there. And Addex wines, I'm going to tell you right now that Pinot Noir, I just tasted it about a month ago. I've already got it in house. Is one of the plushest, richest Pinot Noirs I've ever tasted in my life. And that's what Russell Bevan can do. He is a really, really talented winemaker. This Tench Cabernet is a bomber. At $200, it did really well in this tasting tonight. So I will tell you, the entire lineup kind of rewards you that way. So I would definitely go out and become a fan of that brand and take a look at it. I've got 2 of their wines on the website. They make some Chardonnay, they make some other wines. And as time goes by, I probably will continue to amass as many of them as I can, because they are delicious. And they are going to get more expensive too. But the game is they start off a little lighter and get a little bit more expensive over time, because they've invested some massive dollars and they're not paying their bills right now.
Well, definitely put together Pinot tasting, maybe with the Addex. And then if we get a few bottles if we like it.
All right, we'll do it. Well, thank you. Wonderful to have you. Stephen, great to have you on our Zoom for the first time. I hope you'll come back.
Absolutely. Do you have Pluto Walker?
Yes,
Vacation night?
I have about, I think I have 5 bottles left, Stephen, and that's, I already asked if I could get more and they said no.
Well, if anybody else doesn't want it, we'll take the 5.
All right, you got it.
They're from Rancho Santa Fe, by the way, Donna Walker.
Oh, cool. I did
And
not
you
know that.
Sad to see what happened to their vineyard. We were up there with Danielle Hahn, did a tasting and a dinner up there, and their whole house burnt down with vineyards, and they almost got stuck. People that were there, their electric gates wouldn't open because the power went out. They almost got fried to a crisp, but fortunately nobody was hurt.
Oof.
Yeah. Oof.
Crazy. Yeah.
So I'll be in touch with you you can shoot me an email, I'll send you a credit card or something.
Thank you so much. I can get that to you, no problem.
Okay.
And I appreciate that very much. Any of you want any of these, I'll be happy to put them aside. And Stephen, I'll take the inventory I have and send you an invoice for it. I'll put it on hold for you for there.
Perfect, thank you.
All right.
What about the addicts? How many bottles of that?
Addicts I can get a good amount of, so if anybody wants some, speak up now and I'll get some more. But I have about 12 in-house and about 36 more promised to me.
Okay. We like that one.
We'll take 6 of those too, please.
You got it. Oh, again, I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. And if I can help you in any possible way, please let me know. Hector, always great to have you on the Zoom. Phil, I hope to see you again, sir. Thank you very much. Wendy, always a pleasure. Thank you. And Cicely, wonderful to have you guys on the Zoom. I hope you had a good time.
Indeed. Thank you.
Had a blast.
Awesome. Lauren, you're the best. Thanks for bringing the good folks.
Thanks, Lauren.
Doc.
See you guys.
Tony.
That sun hadn't set yet, huh, Lauren?
Yeah, it's still on the horizon.
It never sets.
I've never seen your face. You've been sniffing and drinking the whole time.
That's what we're here for.
I know.
The Realm really surprised me. I love Realm, but I love the Bard, and the Bard's like $110, and it's been our favorite. 98 points. I mean, it's incredible.
I've got a lot of Bard, and Bard is going up. They announced a pretty good price increase.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got it at about 160 a bottle. I think that's what I have to have it at. And like I said, I'm going to send everybody here a little extra discount tonight. So if you want to stock up on any of these guys, that would be a good time, because I'm not allowed to promote the prices I'm giving you guys at all.
Right. But add Realm to our list, because we love Realm.
Awesome. Well, I'll put it on there, and if you want more, you let me know.
Hey Ian, can you do a realm dinner with somebody?
Yeah, I think we can.
Because that would be great. To do a realm.
We'll work on that. The guys at Realm are really cool, and I'm having a good time with their wines. And people, when they buy a bottle of Realm, they're usually back about 2 or 3 days later to find out what more. I need more of that.
Yeah, we love Realm.
Thanks, Ian.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ian.
Thanks, Tony. Good to see you. Be well.
Good to see you too.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.